We'll
Did
just
the music come through on the last episode that I did?
no. It's so
Dude, I hit
frustrating.
play.
I know, but I'm gonna do it right here.
Welcome to the Hollywood Persona Podcast. Here are your hosts, Mitch and Ant.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hollywood Persona Podcast. My name is Mitch Burns. I am back. I was off last week. Well, we've been off for
He took a sabbatical to work on his pottery.
my pottery. I last week Florence and Ant happily Florence stepped in for me. Obviously, Ant's always here. He's one of the hosts of this podcast, but Ant subbed in for me because my mother passed away. She was 57. It really sucks, but um, shit happens. She was really sick, and she listened to this podcast. She did. She listened to us. She used to like get on the tractor to cut grass, and she would load up like 3 of our episodes and do like the 2 hours 2 hours cutting the grass, and she'd come in and talk to me about it, and or her and dad would listen to them, listen to us on the drives. So I think dad's happy that he doesn't have to listen to us anymore.
It's so funny, man, because my mom is also a listener of this. And
Yeah.
her thing is she travels a lot for camping. And so she'll put on like 2-3 episodes while she drives to another state and listen. And my dad, I don't think he's listened to a single minute ever. So that's very funny that our dads aren't that interested. And I don't blame them. Like, I don't expect my parents to listen to this. Like, it's not that exciting for them.
It's unless you're in this world, like,
Yeah.
then you're not going to jump into it. But here, I actually just printed pictures of. So there's my mom. There's a photo of her from like year and a half ago.
Oh, nice.
That's she was only
really
57,
cool
health problems, I think most people know. But it's going to be really different world without her. I loved her very, very much. And yeah, I think, I'm glad I'm not crying because I have been crying. And, but that's fine because like there's this Andrew Garfield clip where he's talking about Tick Tick Boom a few years ago on Stephen Colbert, and he lost his mother, and like he started kind of choking up, and like he goes like this, and then he said, oh, like I don't mind crying because it's all the unexpressed grief. Unexpressed love. Sorry, and
that's a good
even if someone dies at 90, like there's still unexpressed love. We never tell everyone we love them enough.
Yeah.
I wish there was a million more things I could have done. So, anyways, okay, you go.
Well, we're glad you're back, and do what you need to get through the grief. It just takes time. That's all that you have to do is
sucks balls.
Let the time go. That's it'll never feel 100% better, but as time goes, it'll slightly feel better, as I'm sure you've experienced over these last couple weeks. Yeah, it sucks. It's a shitty part of life that we all have to deal with. It's kind of taboo to talk about, which it shouldn't be. I think a lot in my head of what I will do, say, feel like when I lose people that are important to me, my parents, couple of my uncles that I'm very close with, sister, cousins, like it's gonna happen. And I don't know why I don't need to act surprised when it does, because it's gonna happen. Like I need to prepare for it.
this was just a little too shocking, unfortunately, like a little too like obviously we knew she was sick. So
Yeah, no, I mean 57 is young.
yeah,
Really young.
and
That's like yeah, that's young.
like thank you to your mom too. Like you guys were so sweet, like and your mom kept checking in.
Of course, man.
I
Of
can edit
course.
the
We're
fuck out
we're
of
here
this, so
for you.
this is fine. I didn't think I would cry, but anyways, so
So we're gonna talk some movies
movies.
today. We have quite a backlog, of course. We may end up breaking this into parts because we have so many. Fortunately, both of us have seen quite a bit and quite a bit of new movies. So stuff that is either on streaming now or stuff that's still in theaters. And this is, excuse the pun, we're in movie heaven right now because there are so many good movies coming out at the year end. So some of those we're going to talk about are Craven the Hunter, which is Sony's spin-off Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
That's like
a
the
movie with Jude.
newest one we. Oh no, not the newest one. Sorry, because you're going to talk about some newer stuff as well. But I'm just.
Well, I guess the new. I know. I guess the newest, most recently released. Yeah, that was released last weekend.
Yeah.
I saw a movie with Jude Law called The Order that I really want to talk about because it is actually really cool.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Conclave, that new millennial throwback movie Y2K, Juror Number 2, Night Bitch, Red Rooms, Gladiator 2, and Wicked you've seen now. So we want to hear your thoughts on those.
Yeah, so you and Florence talked about Gladiator 2 and Wicked last week, and but they're two of the biggest movies of the year, so I want to say my piece, but we won't go through all the like, oh, this is who stars in it and blah blah blah. So I want yeah. Let me say my piece.
Before you do, I just want to mention a couple things about the box office real quick. This past weekend, Craven the Hunter did really poorly, and it's kind of funny that or not funny, but interesting that it has done even so much worse than Madam Web, so much worse than Morbius.
Yeah,
it opened to $11 million domestically, and it opened at number 3. So even though Moana 2 and Wicked have been out for 3-4 weeks, it still opened less than those two in their third and fourth weeks. And then Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim, I think it's called.
Yep. Hey,
that
you got
opened
that
at
word
number.
right. I'm proud of you.
I've heard it said a couple of times. It opened low as well at number 7 or something like that. So people just weren't interested, or they didn't sell it well enough.
Yeah, I don't know if they.
And I actually haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't either. I was going to because I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I heard it's okay. I don't know, but hold on. I'm gonna blow my nose. So you.
Yeah, while you do that, from our chat, Forrest asked what flavor of vape, and before you asked, if you look up, I answered your question before you even asked it. So scroll up and you'll see the answer. Another thing I want to mention briefly is the Golden Globes were announced, the nominations. And, we don't really care that much about the Globes or awards, I guess, in general. But it was a nice surprise. Both you and I were texting excitedly to each other saying, holy shit, The Substance got like several and above the line awards.
Or
like nominations.
Demi Moore and
Demi Moore.
Was it musical and comedy?
Yes.
Yeah, because
it got put in there.
So yeah, which made sense to be honest.
It got a couple.
Yeah, because I laughed my ass off during that movie. So
definitely right. I laughed way more the second and third time that I saw it because at first I wasn't sure what to make of it. But they always do fraud with that comedy. The Martian was in comedy or musical.
Yeah. And there was another one
there
was a really bad one, but I can't remember.
A couple others.
But it's just funny because if somebody saw that and then they're like, "Oh, it's a musical or a comedy. Let's go see it, hon." No, No. But anyways, no, I'm very happy about The Substance, and Asher, I can't see what flavor Ant has in the chat. Join the chat then. Oh, Asher is Forrest. Sorry, I just I
okay.
doxed him. Anyways,
I wrote it in there.
yeah, it's watermelon ice and pink lemonade.
Yeah, we were back to The Substance. We're just excited to see it nominated because it's the awards bodies often don't do those. Let me give an example. Teton. Remember that movie?
Yes. And there's so many like movies like that.
Hereditary.
Like
didn't get many.
I don't know if The Fly even, like if we went back that far, David Lynch's The Fly. Like, you know what I mean? If I'm going to compare The Substance to something, then you know, I'm going to compare it to something like The Fly. And did it get any nominations? You know, so it's very David Lynchian, and I don't think he has really rocked the nominations in the last 15, 20 years. So anyways.
Yeah. So it's exciting to see it get the recognition that I think it deserves. And yeah, because, you know, stuff that gets nominated sets the table for movies to come up, you know?
You know what
influences people.
Yeah. You know what I have seen crazy amounts of, everybody's commenting on this, that The Wild Robot, it has now been nominated for the most Golden Globes that a animated feature can be nominated for.
Interesting.
So they're really pushing that hard, but that's only because the Globes have a new category. They started, I think, last year, Best in Cinematic Achievement. I mean,
oh yeah,
you know, like basically money. Best in
except Dune 2 isn't there, and neither is another movie that made a ton of money. The award makes no sense. Dune 2 is not on that list.
Honestly, it's just like, it's probably their reason to give Wicked an award that night. I mean, anyways, we're gonna get into Wicked later, so
and we'll talk about award. We'll talk about the Oscars when that happened. Golden Globes are a joke anyway, and they're known as a joke in the industry anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of the Oscars, Conan O'Brien is hosting. I think we did say that, but both his parents just died within 3 days of each other, which
I saw that.
But they were in their late 90s, so. But
but that's great for him hosting, because I quite enjoy him.
Me too. My mic is making way too much noise. I apologize, everyone. So let's get into Kraven the Hunter, or did you want to say anything about box office? Oh, you did, kind of. So yeah.
No, we can jump into Kraven.
Okay. So Kraven the Hunter is Sony's newest and possibly last superhero/villain movie. They've had the Venom movies, Madam Web, and another bad one that I can't really remember. Morbius, thank you. And yeah, like you said, it's flopping at the box office. It's 14% on Rotten Tomatoes. It stars Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Got a C cinema score.
Oof. Aaron Taylor Johnson. I was actually meant to ask you if it got a C or not. I mean what it got or not.
C.
I was gonna ask you on my way out of the theater. So yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
So even worse.
Oh, sorry. Must be a little bit of a delay there. I apologize.
Yeah, sorry. No problem. I was going to say it got worse than Madam Web. Madam Web and Morbius got C pluses, so a C is even worse.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
So this stars Aaron Taylor Johnson, who I love as Sergei Kravinoff, but he obviously becomes Kraven the Hunter. Ariana DeBose stars as Calypso. Fred Hershinger plays Kraven's little brother. Alessandro Nivola plays the bad guy. Christopher Abbott plays another bad guy. Russell Crowe plays another bad guy, who is also the dad of Aaron Taylor Johnson's Kraven. And then also in this is Levi Miller, Billy Barrett. There was someone else I liked in this. But Levi Miller and Billy Barrett are both young, up-and-coming actors who I think are good. But anyways, so this movie stars, I already said that. But this movie is about a man who hunts people because he was like mixed up in this whole thing in Africa when he was a young boy, and he was given this potion that kind of made him strong. Basically, it's the serum that Captain America got. Essentially, he has like basically the same powers as Captain America, except for he can like see far like an animal can, and like he runs like an animal sometimes and climbs like an animal. But yeah, he I didn't know Russell Crowe was in this until he showed up on screen. I don't know if the trailers were trying to hide him. Did you know?
I didn't, but I didn't see the trailer.
Right. But like I'm not the only one that was surprised. So, but of course, so Craven and his brother, played by Fred Heshinger, who I really like. He plays
he's had a good year.
Yeah, he was one of the twin
emperors,
emperors in Gladiator 2, which we'll talk about later, and he was good.
And he was also in a movie I think this year called Thelma that is really cute and sweet and an awesome movie to watch with your family.
Thank you. He is the like main guy besides Thelma, right? He's her son or grandson. Yeah, he's great in that too. He just has this look where you look at him, you think like, okay, he's a dick, but then he plays like a good character and he does it well, but you know he can play a smarmy bastard if you ask him to. Anyway, so they're brothers. Their dad is Russell Crowe. He wants them to get into their drug business. Obviously, Craven doesn't want to do that. He kills bad guys, blah, blah, blah. There's really not much else to say about the plot unless you had something you wanted to say or you want to tell me about what you thought about it.
So I didn't like the movie. It was a disappointment. This is the first movie of this grouping that was rated R, and so I had some false hope that would mean, oh, we might get something interesting here. Maybe they'll tell us an actual villain story, right? Because all of these characters are Spider-Man villains. They're from the Spider-Man world of comics, and they're all villains. But Sony seems to be too afraid to make a movie about an actual villain that the audience doesn't love or relate to. So they have to make them good. Madam Web was good. Morbius was good. And I think that's where this becomes so dull. I didn't hate this movie like I kind of hate Madam Web, but it's just so bland and not exciting. A point you said early on, there are way too many villains in here. Mm-hmm. Christopher Abbott is such a cool and interesting actor, and we know nothing about him in this movie. And his powers are even not really defined well.
Yeah. I think he's a made-up character for the movie, so it's like, why vary from, the comics and just bring us a character?
I thought he was in the comics.
Okay.
Where he has this power that he can... Yeah, go ahead and look it up. Where he has this power where he can hypnotize people so that they don't see him moving. But we know nothing about him in this. We just cut to him in one scene, and it's like him doing his little hypnotist thing.
Yeah.
Also, Ariana DeBose, she either should fire her agent or choose better movies. She was in Argyle. She was in West Side Story, which was fine, but it didn't do well. And she was in ISS from earlier this year. Do you remember that movie about people stuck in the International Space Station?
Oh yeah,
nobody saw it. It bombed. She is in an up. Oh, and she was also in House of Spoils, which I think you saw.
I did. Yes, I did. Which I didn't love and didn't get enough attention. It went straight to Prime, a horror movie.
She has a movie coming up, I think, in January, which isn't a good sign, called Love Hurts. So anyway, I think she's like beautiful, brilliant, can be a good actress, but she has nothing to do here. And again, just like in Madam Web, there's so much ADR. Did you notice the ADR in this movie?
It was awful. It's like, and this movie, for people that don't know, has been delayed almost 2 years, I think. Or 2 years. A very long time, obviously because of the writer's strike and then numerous reshoots and stuff like that. So don't like, that's obviously a sign right there.
Yep.
But yeah, so
yeah, so I didn't like it. I don't think
Oh.
it's worth anyone seeing. Yeah, and it's like, I don't think it's bad enough to where you could have fun with your friends, where you all sit around and make fun of it. Like, I guess you could. Aaron Taylor Johnson is trying. He looks amazing in this. He must have worked very hard to get that physique. But
and he's good.
yeah. Yeah, he's fine. He's taking it seriously, and
Yeah.
he's good. We've seen him be good in lots of things. I really loved him in what's that Western? Not Western. Nocturnal Animals. I love him in that.
Yeah. Well, he's been. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
he's one of my favorites. But yeah, no, he looked fucking amazing. Like his body was like nutso, crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
But I
the
think
CGI is a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
The CGI is a little cheap in this too. It feels cheap.
Mm-hmm.
The animals when there's a lion.
Yeah, the big thing is that he usually has like a snow leopard or something with him usually at all times. But this is kind of his like coming up story, although he is pretty much Kraven the Hunter, and obviously they didn't want to do too much CGI and have this snow leopard with him at all times. So that snow leopard shows up like very later in the movie and not for very long. And I was excited for this movie because, like, I mean, I'm a big animal lover, and I thought this could be a cool story, like somebody who goes after poachers and stuff. It made me laugh because there's a lot of wildebeest death in this movie. And it seems like so one time he sees all these dead wildebeest after they've already been killed, and then there's nothing he can do about it, and he's very sad. He's a sad man. Anyways, then he goes, there's another time where there's a bunch of people killing wildebeest. And he waits for them to be done and like leaving on the truck to confront them. Because like it's like he knew they'd be coming that way. So at what point did he know that these people were killing them? Couldn't he have gone and stopped them from killing them? I don't know. It was just all felt very weird. And then the wildebeest kind of come back into it later on, or maybe they're buffalo or water buffalo. I don't know.
One of those. Yeah,
one of those. I actually kind of liked this movie. I think it's like a 2 to 2.5 star movie. But the first like 45 minutes are probably a 1 star, as bad as Madam Web. Like Madam Web to me is like the worst, and then Morbius, and then it's probably like, I haven't seen Venom 3 yet, but this is probably my favorite since the first Venom. I liked the violence. I liked where they went in the last 45 minutes or whatever hour, I guess. With some things I liked. There's too many characters, but I think all the characters were interesting. I don't know what the one bad guy, the Rhino, what he was doing. The actor was a little all over the place. It's really hard for me to defend this film, I think, but I just had fun with it enough where I loved it. Like, not loved it. I mean, I liked it enough that I can give it a 2.5 star rating, which is probably too high. I could probably come down to a 2, I think, but I just like, the action's good when it's happening, and Aaron Taylor Johnson's good when he's doing action, and I like some of the stuff between his brother and his dad. But like, I've got a whole list here. Like, the kids have no Russian accents when they're young, and then they have full like Russian accents sometimes when they're older. And of course Russell's doing the full Russian accent. He's good. He's fine. He's Russell, right? I found Ariana DeBose. I found her acting to be pretty bad in the early scenes, but I don't know if that's you know, the script, because the script was really bad early on too. It just seemed like the movie got better, and that kind of won me over. There's one scene where a character loses his finger, but we never saw how that happened. They just kind of come in
Right.
later and they're holding the guy and they're like, sorry about your finger, man. And it's like, but you know, you weren't listening. And it's like, okay, did I miss that maybe?
Huh. I thought we did see it get taken off.
Okay, maybe we did. I don't know. I found it so
Yeah.
weird.
I
I'm like,
thought we
when did they?
did at the dinner table or something.
Huh.
But I think we should move on. I give this 1 star.
Yes. Okay, 2. I'll give it 2. I'll go down to 2.
Okay.
Ant's moving me along. Talk about the order.
We got a lot to get to.
I know.
Yeah, so I really want you to see this, Mitch. This is very Taylor Sheridan type movie.
Ty Sheridan? No.
No, Taylor Sheridan, the director, the one that did Sicario, Wind River.
I get them mixed up. Sorry.
Okay, I'm like, that's his Taylor Sheridan, right?
Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
Okay. No, I mean, if I'm wrong, correct me, but I think that's his name. I think that's right.
You're right.
Just look up who did Wind River, who directed Wind River.
You're right.
Okay. So this is Jude Law, and also Nicholas Hoult, who has also had a good year, and Ty Sheridan, who you just said.
Oh,
the actor.
Yeah.
Is in this. Journey Smollett plays a FBI agent, and then Mark Maron has a small role in it.
Okay. Mark,
are you a Mark Maron fan?
I'm not, but like I kind of watched some of his stuff. Funny enough, after he did a voice in The Bad Guys, he did the snake in that animated Bad Guys movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this guy? And so I looked into some of his stuff. So I don't like know him, but I know him as much as I
he has a small role here, but the story is, and hey Bruce, it's cool that you joined to watch. The story here is based on a true story about something that happened in the 1980s in the northwest corner of the country. It's there's a white supremacist group that was splintering off to do more violent things, to start robbing places, killing people, and really rising up to take the country back for the whites. Jude Law plays the FBI agent trying to take them down. The movie is very like early 2000s-ish action movies feeling, so you can really kind of formulaic and see where it's going, but it's a fun and cool throwback. There's great action scenes. It's like a very good dad movie.
Yeah.
For your dad to watch on a Sunday afternoon, and he'd say like, that's a damn good picture, you know? So I just thought it's really good and acted well, and with it being based on a true story, that adds another nice element to it. So when this hits streaming, I think you should check it out. It's called The Order. I give it 4 stars. I would definitely watch it again, and I would love to see more movies like this. It's very just typical, but done well. Like, it's just done very, very well. Lots of cool shots, a beautiful landscape of northwest corner, you know, like Vancouver-ish or Seattle area.
I wonder why.
So yeah, check it out. It's called The Order. I quite enjoyed it.
I wonder why they've buried it so much, but because I really haven't seen it.
So yeah, because and it has such a big cast too, right? Like people know Nicholas Hoult, Ty Sheridan, Mark Maron could be promoted with this movie. And I think to answer your question is, I think there's just too many things are out right now that are taking the wind out of the box office, right?
That's true.
That's my guess. Just because you've got Mufasa, Sonic, Wicked, Gladiator, Moana, and then these other ones, you know, Conclave, Y2K, and then all these other little movies that like Night Bitch and Queer, are all trying to get their own screens. So that's my only guess is the release date.
Yeah, I hope,
because if this got released in like, you know, August, it could have done well.
Yeah, You're very
What were you
pixelated, but
gonna
I
say?
don't think we have a delay. I don't think, hopefully, but it'll look and sound better once we you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
yours does that too. It'll show pixelated and then it'll catch up. Like right now, it looks great.
Okay. Well, anyway, so yeah, so that's the order. So it's 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. Um, it's yeah. So I will catch that one. And then I caught one that is going to be getting a lot of awards. It already gotten some Golden Globes. That is Conclave.
Yep.
It is starring Ray Fiennes, uh, Isabella Rossellini, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow. If you want to hear Ant's review, he did it not too long ago. I'll just read the log line. Cardinal Lawrence is tasked with one of the world's most secretive and ancient events, participating in the selection of a new pope. Surrounded by powerful religious leaders in the halls of the Vatican, he soon uncovers a trail of deep secrets that could shake the very foundation of the Roman Catholic Church. And I remember you telling me how this movie, like a lot of people disliked it coming out of your theater, who were obviously probably like religious or Catholic, and a lot of this may have been heresy to them. But this is really
Yep.
good. I have a hard time pushing it to 4 stars. I'm at about a 3.5, I think, right now. I didn't quite like love it like I thought I was gonna love it. Like,
Okay.
but it's a mystery. It's a mystery from the beginning, but it just doesn't really give us enough clues. And I don't know if that's a reason to knock it, but like there is a huge red herring in this movie, and it is very
I think
obvious.
I think there's a couple red herrings, wouldn't you say?
Not red herring, but like Chekhov's gun. Like there is a smoking pistol right in front of everyone's eyes, and you kind of know this person has something to do with it, but we don't hear from them, right? Until like and then but yes, there's a million red herrings. Like we think this is going on, but unfortunately it's or we find out a little bit more and a little bit more. And as some of you may know, like when they're picking a pope, it's very private. It's a very private thing. They aren't allowed to leave. They have very little outside information, even on what's going on outside the world. This movie very early on, like, shows you that there are some pretty bad people, and everybody is out to, even though it's being religious and being the pope, there is politics and people want to be the pope and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
it felt you know what, I think now that I'm talking about it, I'm uncovering things I didn't realize, because it does feel very much a little bit like our politics. Like if we go with this guy, we're setting we're setting ourselves back 20 to 50 years. Or if we go with this guy, we can move ahead. The Catholic Church can do this, and there's some questioning of faith, which I think we need in a movie like this. So
Yeah, and I would push back on you saying bad people. I think they just have different values, or old style values, traditional values that they want to keep.
Yeah.
And so that's why they're trying to push their influence. I don't know if they are bad necessarily. But yeah, I agree that this was like a blindingly bright snapshot of exactly what we see today with regular politics, instead of except this isn't a church.
Yeah, it's very I that's I yeah, that's crazy that I didn't really like put together what's going on today and what's going with the politics, because it is politics. What they are doing in this movie is essentially politics. And there's one character, and I don't really want to give it away, because this is kind of a movie where it's like you uncover certain things, but there is one character who seems very pious, very like, oh, I just want to do the job. And then later on, you find like he does have these political aspirations. He does really actually want to be the Pope, and that's a whole thing. Like, you know, it's do we all have that in us where like we pretend we don't
Yeah.
want something? I don't know. It's got a lot going for it. I don't think this is a waste of time by any means. I think the end is gonna just piss off a lot of people. Not a lot of people, but you know, a certain kind of people who maybe use the word woke too much. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
But I think it was a very impactful ending, and I think um, it's something a lot of people need to see because it was unexpected, and this movie is going to get people in the theater that other movies that try to tell you or teach you about these kind of things aren't going to do. If you get what I'm saying, without trying to, because the big flashy movies that try to say, hey, come see us because we want to teach you, this one kind of just like slips it in, and then you're, you know, which I really felt was, yeah, I loved it. I loved it. So yeah, I'm guessing I'm about a 4-star. I just didn't wow me like it did everyone else. So, anyways,
Cool.
tell us
I
about.
gave this 4 stars as well, and I liked it. No, I liked it a lot. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was really, really cool. And for it being PG, it's impressive that it's able to hold my attention for that long, being a PG movie.
I mean, I really like The Two Popes. I know that's like comparing oranges and oranges.
Yeah.
I mean, it is kind of paying.
No, it's similar.
Yeah, they're very like religious themed, but I love The Two Popes, and that's just two people talking. So this one's a little more exciting.
Yeah.
And Ray Fiennes, everybody's good. Lithgow, Tucci, everybody's good. Even some of the people who you don't see very often, like I like Lucien Moussamati. He plays a African deacon. What are they called? Cardinal.
Yeah, deacon, cardinal.
He's really good. Yeah, because I think Ray Fiennes is the deacon, or
you're right. You're right.
Anyways, what did you think about Y2K? This is Kyle Mooney's directorial, his sophomore effort after Brigsby Bear, which we both like.
Love Brigsby Bear, man.
Yeah.
Y2K had a great trailer that worked on me because it was, targeting millennials, right? We were, I don't know, in our teens or so when we changed from year 1999 into 2000. There was lots of media attention around that time because there were lots of computers not programmed to have 4 digits. You can look it up if you don't know what we're talking about. I don't need to explain that here. But the movie is supposed to be a farce on that concept where some computers and things take over and things go awry. And this gives us Rachel Zegler, Julian Dennison, who we know from Stranger Things.
I know him from Hunt for the Wilder People. He's the young boy.
Yes, and Deadpool. Sorry, I meant Jaden Martell. He's like a very soft-looking ass white kid.
Yeah. As well.
And so he's the main character as with Rachel Zegler, who we also know from West Side Story and that bad-looking Snow White movie that's coming up.
Yeah.
And also she was the lead. She was the lead in that new Hunger Games movie, which I did not think she worked in at all in that movie.
Yeah, Songbird of Snakes, or
Yep. Then of course Kyle Mooney has a small role, and so does Fred Durst, lead singer of Limp Bizkit. And Tim Heidecker's in here. Alicia Silverstone has a kind of a cameo. This movie unfortunately didn't really work for me.
No.
I thought I had it. It looks like I had it rated higher than I am about to say here. I'm lowering my rating. As more days have gone on,
Yeah.
Because okay, this movie really, really tries to get me with nostalgia, and I try to not be susceptible to nostalgia because I don't like it. I try not to like nostalgia. I feel like guilty if I give in to nostalgia because, I don't know. I just have this philosophy about we should always be looking forward and not looking back. And I always feel pitiful for the people that are like, man, back in high school was the cool days. Like, I just think that's so embarrassing. Um, the guy who still wears his like Letterman jacket or was prom king and still think that's super cool after
I'm
college.
similar.
And I know like I'm no I'm no better than anyone, but I just don't want to be that person. And so I like had my guard up with this, like, oh, don't get me with the nostalgia, because of course I listened to Limp Bizkit when I was in my teens, and I loved Fred Durst and all that crap. And I look back now and think, oh man, wow, that's so corny. So this did tickle my nostalgia bone a good bit because there was lots of turn of the century stuff uh, featured in this movie. But here's what I think was the critical failure: the lead characters, Jaden Martell as Eli and Rachel Zegler as Laura. I think were not that interesting. They should have kept Julian Dennison. He was funny and interesting when he was on screen, but he is dispatched of pretty early on. And then we're stuck with this like white bread boring character of Eli who's like, I'm sad because this girl doesn't like me. So yeah, man, I just didn't it just didn't stick with me. This isn't a bad movie, and I like Kyle Mooney. And like we said, I loved Brigsby Bear, but yeah, it just didn't connect. It just wasn't that great. Some of the like the set design and the credits, using the old AOL stuff and You've Got Mail and
Oh, I think we lost
dial-up modems and stuff. The movie, it's just kind of forgettable. What?
You're really cutting in and out. I think we might be losing you.
Say that again.
We might be losing you. So I don't know
shit.
if you wanna if you want to take a little break and I can talk about.
All right, how about you take over then for your opinion?
I haven't seen Y2K, but now you seem a little bit better.
Oh,
now.
I thought you had. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a 3-star, 2.5, 3-star.
Okay.
I would say wait to stream it.
And I just found out that it'll be streaming Christmas Eve. So,
okay.
Or not streaming, but available to rent Christmas Eve. I will probably watch it. I've seen most of the horror from this year, and it'll be nice to support Kyle Mooney, because I like him. He's good on Saturday Night Live, and Brigsby Bear. So that is
and actually, so how do I sound now?
You sound attractive, honestly. No, it sounds good.
Am I yeah, because I have a if you want to take a break, I just realized, let me show you something.
It's not how you sound, it's just the like you were cutting in and out like an internet issue.
All right, well, tell me if I do that again, because I bought a 150-foot Ethernet cord that I can go plug in all the way upstairs.
I bought one, I think mine's 150 feet. If not, it's 100. And then I moved into a 1-bedroom apartment. So I don't need it. But that's funny. No, I think you're okay now. It was bad.
I should have plugged this in beforehand.
Oh, that's okay. You don't want to trip anyone else you live with over. So I will see Y2K, but I also watched Juror number 2, and that just became available to watch. That has become available to watch or rent or stream, and it is Clint Eastwood's latest film. It is Clint Eastwood is a 97-year-old man now, I think 96. So this stars Nicholas Hoult, Zoe Deutsch, I don't know how you say her name, Tony Collette, Gabriel Beso, and Kiefer Sutherland. Leslie Bibb is also in this. Chris Messina, just some kind of character actors you will recognize.
Yeah, definitely.
Essentially, I guess I don't have to get too much into it because Ant did talk quite a bit about it, but he is a juror and he thinks that he might have something to do with the crime. That is the log line. I think a lot of like parents are gonna like kind of like this movie. There's a lot of Clint Eastwoody stuff in here that he's kind of. It's like it's not like nothing's ever perfect. Like I'm always annoyed by something, whether it be like an extra or an actor choice. Like most of the actors in the jury room, like the 12 of them, were I was kind of like, this feels very made for TV and not as polished. Like I was like, this feels, unfortunately, and it's like I'm not trying to be ageist, but this feels like an older man making a movie. But I'd say this is a 3-star movie, maybe more. I was engaged in the story. I felt like it went too long and maybe doesn't give a very satisfying ending. Like I think it gives us several endings and it kind of keeps going. And I'm like, I
think the ending's clear.
I think you're okay. Yes, you're right. It is clear, but
no, I mean, a lot of people have talked like you about
there
this.
Could have been a whole like like even if they just put like the front page of a newspaper at the end or something, or like a quick 30-second scene to kind of like show us like. And I hate to be that kind of person that feels like I needed that, but like with the several endings and our mixed feelings about characters, like it's a lot like, hey, do we like this character? Are we mad at this character? Are we rooting for this person? Like this person's kind of a bad person, so is this person. It's but you know what? At the end of the day, I got to watch Tony Collette act for 2 hours, so that was great. And Nicholas Hoult is great, and you don't really know where it's gonna go, and it's a fun one. So, and J.K. Simmons is in this, and he kind of just disappears. Yeah, I did say Kiefer, but I didn't. I forgot to say
you did.
That was the one thing is J.K. Simmons kind of just disappears, and he's
why.
like,
all right, here. He's like, here's some information. All right, movie. I'll see you later.
Yeah, they make it obvious why he leaves, but it kind of felt weird for him to leave because I thought his storyline was going to go somewhere, like circle back, and maybe come back to Tony Collette. And I don't know. But anyways, it felt like maybe they were going to do that and then they could only get him for 3-4 days or something and then just shoot the movie, but whatever. So
yeah.
That's juror number 2. Your parents are gonna love it. I think you will be slightly entertained. I think it's not bad by any means. It's not American Sniper, which I did not like from him, which a lot of people did. But
yeah,
tell us about Night Bitch.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna be pretty quick about this one. So Night Bitch is Amy Adams' new movie. Directed by the director of Can You Ever Forgive Me? Did you see that movie?
I love that movie.
I do too. So I was pretty excited for this. That is Marielle Heller is the director there. So this is mostly Amy Adams' show. Scott McNairy plays the husband, and that's about it. There's a couple other tertiary characters. Zoe Chow is in this. And the story is kind of similar or this reminded me a lot of, do you remember The Lost Daughter? Did you ever see that?
I did, and I didn't like it. That was just a few years ago, right?
Yeah, just a couple years ago with Olivia Colman.
Yeah, I did not like that one.
And so this is a more funny, upbeat kind of version in that. Remember that movie was kind of about a mom who didn't necessarily love her kids, and she was
Yeah.
mad that society says you have to love your kids.
Yeah.
So Amy Adams here has a kid, and she's a stay-at-home mom. You know, she is afforded the ability to stay at home and not work because her husband makes good money, but he has to work, and so he's gone all the time. But the premise of this movie, and this is in the trailer, is that Amy Adams is starting to turn into a dog, hence the name Night Bitch. Like she's getting fur growing in places, and her sense of smell has increased like a dog. The problem is the movie doesn't fully commit to that premise. So yeah, so it's funny. It's funny. Like there's some good comedic moments, and the crowd that I saw it with laughed and had a good time with it. And to me, it's like 3 stars. It's like right about just to where I'd recommend it. I think if you were a mother or a maybe a woman who will be a mother one day or could have been a mother, I think you would relate to this and like this much more than I did. But for me, it seemed pretty corny. And the only like really positive thing is Amy Adams always gives such a good performance. I don't think I've seen her be bad in anything. And this
Mm-hmm.
is another example of her. She's excellent. She like really goes for it. Um, and here she, you know, she's playing like a put upon mom. So she's like no makeup, like really bad hair, bad clothes. She's getting, you know, vomited on by the kid, having to clean up poop. Like she's
Yeah.
just
You can.
dealing with being a mom. And yeah, so I I wouldn't really recommend this, but I do give it like 3 stars in that it's just good enough to where I think some people in my circle that I talk to might end up liking this. Do you think you'll see it?
I will. I mean, now that I know it's that director, and I love Amy Adams, everything she's in. So that director has also she also did the Rogers Neighborhood movie, Mr. Rogers Neighborhood
Yes,
movie.
yes,
So
yes. Can You Be My Neighbor?
yes, yeah. So the actual like movie one,
Or Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Yes, good job.
Oh, and she did Diary of a Teenage Girl, which I didn't see, but I've heard that's good.
I have not seen that. But yeah, I will definitely
No?
see
Okay.
this. What'd you give it?
Wi-
Sorry.
Kristen Wiig and Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh no, I never saw that. Hmm.
Yeah, 2015. So yeah, so that's Night Bitch. The next one is Red Rooms, which I want to hear you talk about. I think I mentioned it, didn't I?
Yes, you did, and I think we were going to kind of wait, so we can kind of get into it. Red Rooms is a foreign language film out of Montreal, Quebec. I'm pretty sure, and it stars
Yeah.
a lot of people that we probably won't know. Did you know any of these people from something else?
No, I did not recognize anyone. How do you say the main actress's name?
Juliette go. Oh, I thought that was an L. Juliette Gariepy. Juliette Gariepi. Gariepi.
Is that not a French name?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But like I don't know French.
Oh, okay.
I just had to take it until grade 10. Like
I'm
Lori
sure you know
Babin,
some.
Elizabeth Loca, Maxwell McCabe Loco,
See, there you go.
Nathalie Tenu, Pierre Chignon, Guy Thauvet, Charlotte Abin. Now I'm just making them sound way too French. I think they probably all sound a little less French than that. But anyway, so this is it was cool because I actually had forgotten that this was a French Canadian movie. And basically it's about a model becomes
man, it's like
obsessed.
right near you.
Yeah, actually I was down that way like near Quebec like 3-4 weeks ago. So I could have crossed the border in 40 minutes and been in Quebec. So this movie is about a model. She's a high class model, and there's a high profile murder that she becomes quite obsessed with. And she makes sure that she is there in the trial every single day. And she like I think there's room for maybe like 15, 20 guests, and she makes sure she's in there. She kind of makes friends with this woman who says that um she who is in love with the main guy, like the main guy, the bad guy, I mean, like, and thinks he didn't do it. And even though there's all this evidence that he did do it, I'm not going to spoil it whether he did or didn't, but it seems very obvious that he did do this crime. Like when they bring him out, he's locked in glass. This is a very clean cut courtroom, all white. Everybody's on computers. There's no like gavel person standing up in the this is a different kind of courtroom. So so this movie didn't like push the needle for me as much as I thought it would. It seemed right up my alley.
Oh, too bad.
As like, after last year, after we had like not Memories of a Murder, Anatomy of a Fall last year. I thought, right. But this one is
good double feature.
Yeah, like if you were gonna watch two movies, this one is more. It's more about the psyche of this character, and it's so. There are some really interesting psychological moments. Like we have this character, and we don't know really where she stands. Like at first, we are like, why is she showing up to the courtroom? Why is she doing this? We know why this other girl who she kind of makes friends is doing it. Who, like, this girl she makes friends with is like one of those like crazy people, like a prepper, or a like someone who has $0 but will drive across the country to support something, you know what I mean, and sleep on a park bench. Our main girl, she has money and lives in a beautiful apartment, and it gets into all the dark web, and I think there's a lot to learn here and a lot of interesting things, and maybe a scary world that we don't all know a lot about, and it shows you how scary like there of an underworld there might be. I think this is very interesting. I think it's a 3.5 star movie. Maybe I'm like a little bit lower because I would say 3 stars, but I think people are going to get more out of this than me, or it's not going to be enough for them, because it's hard to recommend this to anybody who dislikes horror, because this is like right on the verge of like almost horror, but not really.
You don't really see anything here.
No, you hear a lot, and it's creepy, and so it just, I don't know, it's a hard sell, I think, for me to like say to somebody, you got to see this. And I think that's why it's got a higher critic score than it, but like its audience score is like in the high 70s. So
interesting.
So I think I kind of get that, because it's still high, but there's probably people that were like, okay, I thought I'd like that more. It didn't do it for me. But
yeah, I really liked this movie because it twists. It twists the genre. You're expecting, when you hear about this movie, I was thinking of a Terrifier type movie, like, oh god, this is going to be like crazy brutal and violent.
I was thinking Long Legs,
and it turns out it's but it turns out it's really not. Like I just said, like there's you hear some implied violence and like horrible things, but they don't actually show anything on screen that you would be afraid for your parents to see or something. So I liked it a lot because of the unique approach. This wasn't just a typical horror movie, and the main character, as we learn more about her, like we're initially feeling that the villain of this movie is this man that is arrested who most likely committed these crimes against these teenage girls. But as the movie goes on, I found myself more scared and intimidated by the main character, this woman that we're following, because
Yeah.
she seemingly has a good life. She has an amazing life, but she's like obsessed with this this seemingly serial killer. And her actions in the movie begin to escalate and become worse and worse. And she doesn't seem to see anything wrong with it. She doesn't seem to have remorse for it. Like she's got some problems in her head. And as the movie's unfolding, I'm like, wow, this is weird. What a psycho,
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so I liked it a lot. I back to what you said about the courtroom being like white. It's very clinical feeling.
Yeah. Hospital.
Um,
Yeah.
so there was some attention to detail there that was done on purpose. But yeah, as far as like a courtroom drama goes, Anatomy of a Fall every day over this. That was way, way, way better than here. But
Because
I give this like an extra star just for being creative. Go ahead.
I agree. You're right. And I think I will never forget this movie. And I should like probably, to me, it's a lot like the movie's not, but it's a lot like Hundreds of Beavers, where I gave it 5 stars because of its just fucking incredibleness and what they did to make that movie. And this movie kind of reminds me more of Titan if I had to compare it to anything, with the
Sure.
main character and their and the way they're going. Obviously the similarities there being like the French and stuff like that. But yeah, like it's
Yeah.
funny how you're in this girl's head for half the movie and you don't really have any idea of why she's doing this or what she's doing or who she even really is. Like you barely hear her talk. She emails most of the time, like, and texts.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's I don't know what I can say that's like too spoilery, but it's like
Well, I actually want to ask you a spoiler question, but I won't give anything away. I'm going to ask it in a way that'll still leave mystery if someone who hasn't seen it would know what I'm talking about. But I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
There's a scene in the movie where our main character goes into the courtroom wearing a certain outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets the eyes of the defendant. He looks at her, but he doesn't make a face. He just kind of goes like this and like looks at her. He's not like, oh, good job. Or he's not like grossed out by it, right? What was the intention? What was she doing there? Was she trying to appeal to him like, hey, look at me, I love you? Or what did you take of that scene?
See, because I always felt like her relationship with the case was different than the now
girl that wanted to date him.
Yeah, and I don't think it was that. I think it's her obsession. I think we're watching the creation of, and I don't want to use this word because it feels spoilery, so you can skip ahead 30 seconds, but we are watching the creation of a sociopath or a future killer like him. And
okay.
You know what I mean? And she is like an American Psycho type. Like she goes in and she sits down and she does that to just see how he would react. And then I think she's like, because she's watching the videos and she's got no reaction. She's watching, and then the stuff later that happens with the dark web stuff. I'm even getting chills. That scene is and he does wave at the end. Doesn't he wave at the end?
Yeah,
I think
maybe, but it's a very like,
it's very just like
hey.
Hey, and then he puts his hand down. Like, I think they're just both very similar people, and I think she was just kind of like trying to prove that and maybe prove to herself that she's fucked up. Like, but it could be taken for, because the one thing I read that they kept saying, and I don't know if I would have noticed this, so you can tell me, I don't know if I would have noticed this if I hadn't read it somewhere, But in one of the descriptions, they're like, this girl takes an interest in the case, and she looks a lot like the third victim. And I saw that, and I was like, if I hadn't read that, I don't know if I would have made that connection.
Me either. I don't think so, because she looks much older than the
Like,
guy's victims.
Yeah, and she's clearly like in her mid to late 20s. These girls were 17 and who were killed. And I think it's very like maybe she's trying her best to make it look like she looked like to try to look like her. So, but I just didn't really, I would never have got that. I thought she was just trying to look like a young girl, right? Almost like, hey, I'm kind of, your type. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So,
and I thought the last thing I want to say about it is I thought it was commenting on the true crime podcast Junkies.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first that seems it feels like that's what she is.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I think it is.
But she doesn't produce any media, so maybe she's not.
Right. It's really interesting. Fuck.
But, yeah,
okay,
maybe.
So maybe skip ahead a couple more minutes if you don't want this movie spoiled, because it is interesting. I don't know if you caught this one part on the computer later where one guy says, "Oh, fine, I'll just wait for it to be,
leaked." Yeah.
Leaked, right? Okay, so that's all I'm gonna say. But we know she's not gonna leak it. That's not why she bought it. She didn't.
Right.
She bought it for her herself, and that was like, oh shit, like okay, yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, this is really a problem. The amount of money she spent on it was insane.
Yeah. But anyways, so
cool.
I guess,
yeah, good movie. I liked it. I gave it 4 stars.
Sorry, I did not ask. I'm
no,
trying to rush too much, but yeah, I mean, I'm 3.5. Again, I gave it 3.5 on Letterboxd, and I think it probably deserves 4. I think it. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that character. I'll never forget the divide between those two characters that happens. It's just it's a very interesting way to do a movie. But I guess I'm gonna quickly say my thoughts on Gladiator 2 and Wicked.
I want to hear them.
And then we will wrap up. I know this has been a compressed video. I mean, we've talked about a lot. Let me just get my notes up here for them, because I watched them before any deaths in my family, so it's been a little bit.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, maybe I didn't write anything. Anyways,
I've now seen Gladiator 2 times.
Gladiator 2. So yeah, Gladiator 2. I left the theater loving it, saying like 4.5, 4 stars, like around there, 4.5 stars. I think I'm down to 4 because it didn't have the staying power that the first one does. Like, I hadn't seen the first one since I was like young, and when I rewatched it, like, I fell in love with it again. I've got my little, which one is he? There's Maximus. That's Maximus right there. He's got his little Santa hat on.
Nice.
Or maybe that's, yeah. And and that movie stuck with me till I rewatched it again, and I'm like, yeah, no, this is a good movie. And this movie does follow a lot of a similar, storyline. Essentially, this person becomes a gladiator, and it's like he wants to fight the system, and but I really enjoyed my time. I liked Paul Mescal. I liked Pedro. I liked Connie Nielsen back. Denzel, I didn't love him as much as everyone else. I wasn't over the moon. People are calling for like Oscar nominations, and I'm like, well, he was fun, but I think he's like that in a lot of movies. I wasn't like, and actually, to be honest, I felt like his character, like it went too far. Like, I think his character went too much. Like, he ends up like, I don't know, I shouldn't spoil it, but like he ends up just, becoming like part of the main focus of the story, and I
Yeah,
wasn't
he kind of
expecting
to
it.
me he kind of feels like he's in a different movie.
Yeah, like he feels like he's in Game of Thrones, like
Yes,
where it's like
yes.
more rated R and backstabby, and the other guys are in Gladiator. Um, that he felt like uh, Littlefinger, Littlefoot. He felt like Littlefinger from like um, Game of Thrones, if you've seen that. So I think I'm like 3.5, 4 stars. We've had so many good movies this year that it's like it's hard for me to give another 4 star when I wasn't like in love with it, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, there's some
Yeah.
silliness, like they fill a gladiator arena with water and sharks and two entire ships. Tell me how they did that back then. I'd like to know. But anyways, yeah, so that's Gladiator 2. Did you want to say anything about that, or
No, no,
what did you give it?
no. Like it, uh, three, 3.5.
Oh, okay. So you're higher up. You're lower on it than me.
And my review was it feels very much like a remake of the first one. This is very The Force Awakens. This is very
Yeah.
um Jurassic World. Like it's just kind of repeating the same
Yeah.
story, different
Yeah.
people.
And like I like that Connie Nielsen wasn't relegated to the background. I like that she had like a whole thing. There's actually kind of a
Yeah, it was cool to see
shocking,
her.
yeah, there's some really interesting moments around that, with the familial stuff. And yeah, she's good. There is one other returning character. I'm sure you since you watched it. That older guy, did you notice?
Yeah, yeah,
Um his name's like Jacoby or something. I can't remember, but I was
yeah. I think that's
um
right.
yeah, I remember him, and he's in it. He's not in it very much, but he's like one of the two returning characters. Well, there is a hint at like a character at the very, very, very end. So I don't know if you remember that or not, but
No, I don't. Maximus?
yeah, there's a call. There's kind of a callback, but
Yeah.
it's
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I do know.
So anyway, so Wicked, I watched Wicked Part 1, and actually talking about Wicked Part 1, they have released the title for Wicked Part 2, which is funny because I heard you and Florence saying, what are they going to call the second one? If this is Wicked, are they
Yeah.
going to, if this one's not called Wicked Part 1, it's just Wicked. So the second part of Wicked is now going to be called Wicked for Good, which is one of the final songs I think they sing in the stage play. So that's not a huge surprise. It got it's getting a lot of awards nomination, and buzz. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo were both nominated at Golden Globes. I expect the same thing at the Oscars probably.
Yep.
I think what I'm gonna say is Cynthia Erivo kills it in every sense of the word. Like she kills it. She is Elphaba. She's the Green Witch, Wicked Witch of the West, and she is incredible. Like, and her singing is amazing, but her control and her acting is very well done. She could have played this a whole lot of ways, and she decided to go a little more understated, which I think was perfect because then you have her alongside Ariana Grande's character, who I got a lot of Kristen Chenoweth from, who played what's Ariana Grande's character's name again? Elphaba and Glinda.
Glenda.
Kristen Chenoweth played Glinda
Galinda.
Galinda, sorry, in the
No,
stage play.
it's from the movie. Remember, it's Galinda from
Oh yeah,
the goat.
And Bowen Yang in there from SNL. That was good to just have him pop up. They didn't use him too much. But Ariana, like, she fucking killed it too. But like, I almost hate saying that, but like, she, for some reason, but she crushed it. It was almost like she was made for this role. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I heard you talking about that Loathsome song, and like that one's been one of the ones stuck in my head specifically because I could, like, the choreography for that song is so good. Like the shit
Yeah.
Ariana does with just her hair and her head movements and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
this is why I don't even try to dance, because there's people like this that, you know, can express themselves with dance in like the tiniest of movements and then the biggest of movements. um so yeah, I think the pairing of the two was great. And I'm really holding space for this movie and the lyrics of Defining Gravity. I find I'm holding a lot of space for it. Do you know what I mean?
I guess.
Sometimes you don't know the internet memes, but there was an interview,
Oh, yes, 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 yes. I
with the
saw this.
two of them. Yes. And
That's beautiful. No way. No, really,
that's
that's
amazing. And
amazing.
she's like, the interviewer is like, yeah, like, you know, I've seen it on like a couple posts, you know, I'm in a lot of queer media, and it's like and then Ariana Grande reaches over and grabs Cynthia Erivo's one finger, and she's just holding it while Cynthia starts crying.
Mhm.
It was bizarre. But anyway, so no, this movie is
Yeah, there is some bizarre. And now that you brought up memes, I want to talk about Cynthia
uh-huh,
Erivo's reply to someone editing the movie poster to look like the Broadway poster. I think that was
bonkers.
absolutely ridiculous and makes Cynthia Erivo look so out of touch with
Yes.
normal people.
But I've also seen other interviews of her, like, on like red carpets and stuff. She is a little odd. She is a little like maybe has some mental health issues. She's just a little, like, you know, off the beaten path. And that's fine, whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, she really took that poster thing to a new level. She made it like
yeah, yeah,
a race thing. Like, but even though her character is
yeah.
green, as if like the person's trying to hide this green character who everybody
Right.
knows is fucking green. I don't know.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was
And
it was
I
wild.
do want to I want to talk about her because so she's a black woman and she's bald. So she's very she's just not someone or an actress that I would necessarily follow or be that interested in or care too much about or root for or want to see succeed. Like just
Mhm.
people look and follow the people that look like them or come from the same town as them. You know what I mean? Like in no like race or difference way. It's just I'm a white man from
Mhm.
Atlanta, whatever. Like, but she has always been like very, very good in the things I've seen her in. So Wicked, she had a cool small role in Bad Times at the El Royale Hotel, and then she had a
Okay.
really cool role in the movie Widows. Did you ever see Widows?
No, I did. I skipped it, and I shouldn't have.
It's an awesome,
You bring it
awesome
up a
heist
lot.
movie. Yeah, it's a cool heist movie based in Chicago. Lots of Chicago iconography, so I have an attachment to that. And then she played Harriet Tubman in the movie Harriet, and she was great there too.
She
So,
was good, but that
um,
movie was
so I
awful.
like her. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She was
Harriet
fine,
was,
right? She was good,
yeah.
but the movie wasn't so great.
I did not like that. They did not do Harriet Tubman justice if they were going to finally make a movie about her. But no, I'm looking at. I thought I knew her better, and I'm looking at her IMDb, and I have not really seen her in a lot. But just I know
She
she
was in Chaos
sang,
Walking.
and I didn't see that one either. But she
I
did
saw it, but I don't
sing.
remember her.
Oh, okay. She sang the
Yeah.
basically the anthem for Selma. She sang that, like, "We will stand tall, take our people." I think that was for Selma, but like that has become um like a huge hit. And then I could be wrong. I hope she sang that. Cynthia Erivo, Selma. Fuck. Never mind, I'm wrong. I thought she did. Glory. I don't know. It was someone. I thought it was her. Fuck.
Okay.
Whatever. She's a good singer. I've listened to her before in other things too. I got to figure out where I've heard her before. But maybe it was on the All Hate You Give soundtrack. I think she did something.
And then I kind of like in my head group her with Lupita Nyong'o and Denai Guerrera.
Really? I can see that.
Yeah.
I think because
Lupita's
very.
They're around the same age. Yeah. But anyway, back to Wicked. They're both very, very good in it.
Yes. It didn't need Peter Dinklage singing as a goat. Didn't need that.
Yeah. I didn't
Michelle
need Jeff
Yeoh,
Goldblum singing.
Yeah, I didn't need Goldblum singing. Like I thought he was good as the character. Like he does his jazz and stuff. I didn't need that. I don't know. Marissa Bodie, she's new. She seems very cute and bubbly as the sister Nessa in the wheelchair. And Ariana Grande's really awkward, weird looking fiance is in this as well. Didn't need that. He looks like a munchkin, but are munchkins not small anymore? I don't know. This movie's a 4-star movie. I think I could see myself sitting down and watching it again, watching it with someone, people, or maybe never seeing it again, but still saying that's good. Like I won't watch it again before I see the sequel. I mean, I get it. And I do feel like they have some work on their hands. I think the next one's going to make money no matter what, but being as good as this one is going to be difficult.
That's going to be tough.
You don't have that defying gravity ending that you have with this one, with the big climactic. I don't know where, I haven't seen the stage play, so I don't know how it ends. I don't really want to know. I'll just watch the movie and see. But I know like some of the music, and there's not that big defying gravity kind of moment, which is incredible. So anyways.
Yep.
Yeah. What are you going to see tonight?
It's called The Sixes.
Okay. Good.
No, what was it called?
The
688.
Okay. Do you have any idea what it's about?
It's just a terrible name for a movie.
Yeah.
I do. It's about the first and only, I think, Black female women battalion that ran missions during World War II overseas. So
okay,
crazy that this story hasn't been told before. It's a movie that's coming to Netflix soon, but yeah, I'm seeing it tonight. It is directed by Tyler Perry, and he has a history of directing terrible movies, but this looks good, so I don't know.
He does the Medea movies, and I mean, I haven't seen a single one.
Medea,
and I don't want to. Medea? Did I say it wrong? I do not want to watch
Medea,
any of
and
those movies ever.
And but he also did like Fall from Grace, Mea Culpa. He did Acrimony, which was terrible. I saw that one. Nobody's Fool. Oh man, that was so bad with Tiffany Haddish and Whoopi Goldberg. He just makes he makes movies that, and this is gonna sound crazy, but my actual Black friends are embarrassed because of the movies he makes. He's like I've heard them say like he makes me embarrassed because this makes white people think this is how Black people are, and he's like, we're not this obnoxious.
Yeah, and I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to try to talk for a whole race. I'm just saying, like maybe I just think maybe there are, because his movies make a lot of money, and I'm just
exactly.
I think they are there for a certain kind of crowd, and it's not for us, and that's kind of the best way I can say that. So
Yeah, and in that same sentence that I remember my friend saying this, he said that his mom or his aunt like loves and goes to all the movies. So,
right,
you know,
yeah. So coming out,
what are you
like,
seeing? Yeah, what are you gonna see sometime soon?
well, I am gonna try to watch what do we say? Maria. I want to watch Maria this week. I need to watch Amelia Perevos, or what's
Amelia
it called?
Perez. Yeah, you got to see Amelia
Perez.
Perez.
And the other one we said that I asked you
Mufasa,
to
Sonic
wait
3.
for. Well, coming out this weekend is Mufasa, The Lion King, the prequel to
And
The Lion
Nosferatu.
King. Is this that weekend? No, Nosferatu is the weekend
Sorry.
after.
Well, it's actually Tuesday night. I've got a ticket for Nosferatu Tuesday night, a week from today.
So right, so this weekend is usually when movies come out. So this weekend, Mufasa, The Lion King, and Sonic the Hedgehog are coming out on like the Friday, like most movies. And then movies also come out Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And on that day, Nosferatu is coming out, as well as what else comes out Christmas Day? Oh, A Complete Unknown, Baby Girl,
Yeah.
The Fire Inside, and
I saw some of The Fire Inside yesterday.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, it was the AMC Screen Unseen thing, and we were really slow, so I went and watched 30 minutes or so of it. It looks pretty good.
And
but yeah, we got tons and tons and tons of stuff coming up.
Stuff. When my friend Forrest comes down,
Moana 2.
Yeah, have you not seen it?
No, and I am not going to. It looks terrible, and I heard it was originally a Disney Plus show that they cut into a movie, and that is creatively bankrupt. However, Asher, I hope you enjoy it. I really do, and I mean that seriously. I just don't care for it. I love that first Moana movie.
Yeah, me too. My kids were obsessed with the first one. Here's my problem. If it's not good and they did do that and there's some issues with it, I'm just going to be upset, because I remember like a year ago when they were like, hey, we're going to bring you a live action Moana. And all of us just kind of said, why? No, thank you. Give us Moana 2. So maybe this is them rushing to give us Moana 2, realizing that's what people would have rather had, is a good Moana sequel rather than a fucking live action sequel. And they're not even going to use the girl who voiced the fucking real Moana. They're using someone else. It's just another rock cash grab. But anyways, I'm excited to bring the kids, literally all 3 kids, to go see Moana 2. So anyways, It's good to be back. I talked a lot. My voice,
welcome back.
My throat hurts. And thank you everyone for listening and all the support. I've gotten a lot of messages from listeners and friends and people, so it really means a lot.
That's nice.
We've got a big family, and we're all kind of connected to the cinematics and the Film Vault people, and so I've had a lot of people reach out. It really means a lot. Your mom, you, stuff like that. So I appreciate it, and we'll be back with a lot of reviews of stuff.
Yeah, man. Good to see you back, and we'll talk soon. Hit me with the outro.
I will do that. I'm going to do the first. I'm going to do
what icon is Forrest? I don't recognize that.
The red one down there?
Yeah.
I think it's just a person's face.
What
is that icon?
Yeah, I thought maybe it was
a picture of them wearing a mask that like they got a painting done when they had red hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like I think it's like kind of like one of those AI things where
Thank you for listening to the Hollywood Persona podcast. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at The Hollywood Persona. Feel free to email the show at thehollywoodpersona@gmail.com and make sure to rate, share, and follow on whatever platform you're listening to our show on. It's the little things that help. Thank you.
And you little shithead, you're staying here.
What was that cup of? Was that Gladiator 2? Or Craven?
No, I thought you saw it. It was Fast X.
Oh, you're so blurry that I couldn't tell. It looks like Craven.
Oh man. I should use this cup to store my urine, but I use it for water.
Like when you need to pee during the program?
During
During the show? Okay, everyone, thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Yeah, good to talk, man. We'll be in touch.
Yes. I will edit this one because you've probably done the last two, I think.